Welcome back to the catch up here on Cris Cyborg's YouTube channel. I am James Lynch. She is Cris Cyborg. Cris, how are you today? We're getting you right in the middle of, I guess, going to training. Where am I getting you today?
No, I'm great. I'm getting ready to go training. Today we changed a little time for us, né? But everything's good. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and we're excited to do the show again, as we always do. Lots of news. Let's start with Bellator. Liz Carmouche retaining her title over Deanna Bennett, who ended up missing weight. What did you think of that submission victory for Liz?
It's a great submission. It's a great fight. Even her opponent Bennett, missing weight. I know it was hard to cut weight, but she did great. She did show nice submission, and congratulations for the champ.
Yeah, and if you thought that was great, that was even topped in that performance with what Patchy Mix did in the interim title fight against Raufeon Stots. What did you think of that highlight reel finish? That was incredible.
No, for sure. If you see the knee is really timing, when you do the knee, I believe the team will work, for do the knee in the fight. It was a great fight, and congratulations to him, getting the victory. And then now I'm excited to see him against Pitbull. What do you think?
Yes, that or Pettis, or we'll see. I mean, there's the bantamweight division's never been hotter in Bellator right now, so I think Patchy's right there with all of them. The question I think with Pitbull, and I'm curious, can he make the weight? He's never fought at 135, so that's what I'm interested in.
Let's see what's going to happen. Usually his fight at 145?
Yeah, usually 145. Pitbull's also fought at 155, so now moving down, I'm very interested, and he could make Bellator history, right? Being, getting another belt, right? So it's very, very intriguing there. But let's switch over to boxing. I know you were paying attention to this one. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. What a fight that was. I know you're a Ryan Garcia supporter, but what did you think of that performance from Tank?
I was with support Ryan, but I know he's really quick. But I know too his opponent was really good. His power, fast, smart fighter. I think it's very difficult to find somebody who really beat him because he's really smart fighter. And it was a great fight. The body shot, man, he did great. He's really fought in the mistake of the Ryan. He's really first he did the hook. After he's going the body, it was a great fight, exciting. Very nice to learn, between both.
Yes.
And then, I know it's the first loss to Ryan. Is really no easy, but, we learn, you grow. He's a young fighter, and there are a lot of things to learn, and a good experience. It's going to pass through everything.
Speaking of good experiences, I saw you went to the premiere of Catching Lightning, the documentary on Lee Murray. It's actually good timing we did this today because I just finished watching it last night.
Nice.
It's so interesting, the whole history of that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on Showtime. But what did you make of that documentary on Lee Murray, who's someone every MMA fan should look up?
No, funny, because when all this happened, I was beginning in my career. I didn't know much about him, but in Shooter Box, have a lot of guys fighting UFC, fighting in cage race.
Yeah.
Like Cyborg, a lot of good friends of mine, fighters in the cage race at the moment. And they didn't hear about, Liz, he beat, he's won the first fight by submission in UFC. Mm-hmm. And he fought in cage race against Anderson Silva. Yeah. So he's lost by decision against Anderson. And how's crazy his plan is training for be a world champion in the world really hard. You see some clips, very cool, the commentary, and the plan to rob a bank, and then the history in London. So It's crazy. If you don't watch it, guys, I think you guys go watch the Paramount Plus, and very, very cool.
I thought it was just incredible just to see, like everyone said in that documentary that Lee Murray probably would have been like Conor McGregor, right? He had everything. He was an exciting fighter. He was a good personality. And it's just crazy that all this happens. The other thing I found interesting, and I'm sure you saw this in the documentary too, Anderson Silva's English is like perfect. He was talking in English the whole time. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, he's getting better. I have the opportunity to train for him to be one of my last boxing training. Yeah. And he's I think been practicing training, and for sure he's like to do movies. For sure his goal is keeping the English better and better. Mm-hmm. And the nice about the commentary, the director, he's having the opportunity to talk to the family. Yeah. Family never talk anything.
That's right.
This is the first time the family talk. His wife. It was a great documentary.
And just last thing, I found it so interesting of Anderson Silva being so honest about what he thought of Lee Murray, that it was going to be a tough opponent because, of course, Lee Murray knocked out Pele, right? And that was a big deal back then. And so Anderson Silva, like it was interesting hearing Anderson Silva, who's one of the most dangerous fighters of all time, talk about how he's a little bit nervous fighting Lee Murray, and he ended up, winning a decision there. But I did you find that interesting there? Anderson Silva, talking about how great Lee Murray was and how he really had to prepare for him.
Because Anderson was a friend to Pele. Then trained together, they was friendly. Then he knows Pele. Yeah. Pele, everybody really afraid of him that moment. He's the legend that moment. So, and then he's beat him. So Anderson Silva, it was a tough fight. So it was a great. Yes. The guy's gonna enjoy to watch.
Yeah, it was a really good documentary there. Now you're always traveling. We talk about this all the time. You're going to, and we talked about this I think a few weeks ago. You're going to be going to the Bitcoin conference. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I always like to go to Bitcoin conference. This is the thing for me to learn. The smart people in the world is gonna be there. They want to. I want to learn it, getting better every day, and I believe Bitcoin is gonna be the future. And you have to be on top. You have to be learning. You see the economy was going, so I think you have to be smart to get smart every day. And I'm gonna be doing one. I'm gonna sit with a live with Alex McShane, and
cool.
He's really into Bitcoin and the BJJ. It's a big, great talk.
Yeah, that'll be good. So if you're at the conference, be keeping an eye out there for Chris. That's going to be taking place in Miami. Going back to boxing, I saw we had Brazilian YouTube star Whinderson Nunes getting a knockout in the influencer boxing match this past weekend. What did you think of that? Because these YouTube stars, man, they're becoming the new celebrities these days.
And that was great to see Whinderson Nunes get the win. His last fight was a tough fight. His fight Popó is the champion in the WBC, and he's more than 50 fights. And he's in the greatest show. He's have a heart. Mm-hmm. This is the most important. Yeah. When you bring to the gym to train, if you see he can be a fighter, you see if they have a heart. If the guy have a fighter, he have a heart, you can learn techniques. You can, you can be a fighter. And that was amazing, his victory. And I'm very excited to see his fight Jake Paul. I think it's a big Jake Paul, no. Logan Paul, because the weight, but I think it can be a great fight between them, the bigger YouTubers, in the world.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it there. Do you think Nate can beat Jake Paul? It's going to be interesting because here's the thing that I think people forget. Nate Diaz had most of his success in his career at 155. So he's going to be fighting at 185. I know later in his career he fought at 170, but I'm curious to see the size difference between Jake Paul and Nate Diaz in that fight. What do you think? Who do you think wins that? It's going to be interesting.
No, I think it's a lot of weight for
Nate Diaz.
Giving. I know it's going to be 185. It's usually fight 155. Maybe walk 175. I don't know how close it have to be in the fight, but I don't think I don't think it's the right thing to be too heavy. Yeah. I think he's have to maybe fight the way he's at. It's hard, but he's smart. He's a great cardio. Then the guys like to bicycle, doing triathlon. I think Nate's going to be great card for the fight. Yeah. But it's going to be tough. But any boxing in MMA is different than boxing in boxing, because I feel this when I did in my boxing fight.
That's right. Yeah.
Really different. So, but then they have a lot of little experience. I think they sparring boxing a lot. So I'm excited to see this fight against Jake Paul. And Jake Paul get a great victory, I think it's be good.
Well, there's just last thing I'll mention on this fight. Nate Diaz is really tough to finish, right? So that will be interesting. Can Jake Paul finish him? But then on the flip side, if you look at most of Nate Diaz's wins, they're actually by submission. They're not by knockout. He's not really a power puncher. So that's where I'm interested to see, can Nate maybe, use his boxing to win a decision? Like, I don't think he'll knock out Jake Paul, but we'll see, right? It's going to be interesting.
So he's going to have to be in shape and be quick. And move around it the whole time, because JK has come to power. It's going to be different weight. It's heavy.
Yeah. Well, let's hope this fight happens. I don't know if you saw on the weekend, there was a Jake Paul lookalike in New Orleans, and Nate Diaz got into a bit of a scuffle with him. There's apparently charges laid now. What did you think of that? That's crazy.
No, it's crazy. I watched the video. Man, Nate is 40 years old already. I think he's too old for being in a street fight. I know sometimes people do stuff and maybe piss you off, but you have to walk away. Sometimes it's better to walk away. And very hard he dropped the guy on the floor. Can be the worst, than this. But I hope Nate to be okay, not be too much in trouble, and yes, I hope he's be okay. Get out all this.
Yes, I'm with you there. Okay, let's get to our Blaze game of the week. Your Lakers, I saw the tweet last night, got the win. So they're up 2-1 in the series. But, I got to stay loyal to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies used to be in Vancouver. I live in Vancouver, so I'm still going to stick with the Grizzlies. I'm assuming you're going to stick with the Lakers here. What do you think is going to happen?
I believe LeBron James have the I think he's getting close to get the last moment. He's getting the championship. So I'm going to be the Lakers.
Okay, we'll see what happens next week. We'll have to talk about that. And before we get out of here, you got a good promo going on right now. I don't know if people are aware of this. So you do obviously the Q&As, the members live that you do every month. So two-part question here. First, when are you going to be doing the next live? And second, there's a promo going on, if you can clarify for me here. If you sign up for a year, you get an autographed photo from you, right? To tell a little bit more about that too.
No, my team always working and doing the best opportunity for my fans, and they give it back, the love they give to me. So if you sign up, you're gonna get a photography and a sign for you. So go to sign up to membership, and then the next live you have together is gonna be Friday, Pacific time.
Pacific, yep.
Pacific time. It's gonna be 2 p.m. So be there with me as a nice, you can have the opportunity face with me, make a question, asking me something you're curious, and I share my day, share my week and my month with you. And when I have the news, James, I always tell them first.
Yes, that's right. So you get some breaking news. That's a perk. So just to clarify, that's this Friday that it's coming up, the 28th?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, this Friday,
okay, so that's 2 p.m. Pacific time. It'll be 5 p.m. Eastern time. So just keep that in mind if you're on the East Coast there to do that. And as we always do before we get out of here, got to mention CrisCyborg.com, the premium service, which we just talked about there. You can sign up with Bitcoin. You can sign up for less than a cup of coffee. It's $2.99, very cheap. And then you also have the OnlyFans as well, where they can get exclusive behind the scenes content of your training and all different types of videos. Anything you want to mention before we get out of here?
No, guys, thank you for being here for me. Thank you, James. And I think about you. Forgot you don't tell me Portuguese.
I know I've been kind of slacking on that too. Do we want to do a last minute one here? We've got a lot to talk about. That's why we don't want to miss that.
I think maybe if people would like to see James speak a little bit Portuguese, you guys send a message to him or put some comments.
All right.
But I would just remember this. I said, man, we don't do it anymore, the Portuguese, but it was good.
Yes, it was good.
Thank you, James, for being with me, for taking your time. Thank you, guys.